Here we go, lesson 932. So what happens if we need to graph linear and nonlinear inequalities? So let's refresh what we did on 931, and let's graph this. Your m is -5/3 and your b is -3. So you're going to begin, I messed up with the straightness of my line. So I've scribbled it out. Anyway, your b is -3, and then your slope is -5/3. So you could go down 5/3 or up 5/3. And either way, those two are going to fall in this straight line. And since it's greater than or equal to, that means the points that are actually on the line will be included. So you'll draw a solid line like you normally do. And then you want all of the points greater than that. So that's why I shaded above. What is the minimum number of points that you need to test in order to know which side of the line that the solution falls on? You really only need to try one. If you try one and it's true, you shade towards that ordered pair. If it's false, if it doesn't work, then you shade away from it. So it says down here, Orville thinks that using the point 0, 0 to test this inequality is a great idea. Why is that so convenient? It's because it makes the math quick. If you put in a 0 here, then you get 0 is greater than or equal to -3. That's a true statement, so you would shade towards 0, 0, so that's why we shaded up. So it makes it super quick. Anita wants to try -3 too. So she tries that one, but it doesn't really work because -3, 2 is actually on the line, and so that doesn't help you know if you need to shade above or below it. And so I always do 0, 0, unless unless 0, 0 is on the line, and then I pick like 1, 0 or something equally as easy to plug in there. So down here, we're talking about foreign aid. One of the purposes of the United Nations is to have nations work together to help each other. Recently, the members of the UN decided to give grants to poor countries to help reduce poverty. However, the United Nations only has resources to help those countries in the greatest need. Therefore, it was decided that only countries in which the number of people in poverty is more than 1/2 of its total population would receive foreign aid. A constraint is a limitation or a restriction. So write an inequality that would represent the constraints on receiving foreign aid. Let X be population and Y be people in poverty. So if you go back up here, it tells you that people in poverty is more than, so that you're going to want to use the more than sign, 1/2 of its total population, so 1/2 of X. So your line will be Y is greater than 1/2 of X. Then, basically back here, you don't really need the resource page because I put the graph on here. If you graph 1/2 X up 1/2, and then I use the straight line, then you're going to notice that the ones that are more than 1/2 would be Honduras, Zambia, Madagascar, and Uganda. Rwanda is actually on the line, and so they would not be available for aid because it needs to be more than. So that's how that one works out. So yeah, which countries would receive foreign aid? The ones that are circled. And then down here, it says, what if the inequality is nonlinear? Decide with your team how to graph this inequality on graph paper and use your graphing shortcuts to help. So we know that this is going to be a quadratic because it's x squared minus 4x plus 3. So we want to find our key points. So first we can find our x-intercepts. And so if you go to factor this, two things that multiply to be 3 that add to be -4, you could use -3 and -1, and then you would get x minus 3 times x minus 1, set them both equal to 0 and solve, and you would get 3 and 1. So you know that 3 and 1 are your x-intercepts. And so you know your vertex is going to be halfway between those, and so you know it's going to be at 2. So when we plug in 2 to the equation, 2 squared is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3. 4 minus 8 is -4, plus 3 is -1. So, oops, I forgot my parentheses. So the ordered pair would be 2, -1. And then now you could find your y-intercept as well. So that's plugging in 0 for x, so 0, 0. So basically, your y-intercept would be 3. If that's your y-intercept, you can, to help you draw your parabola, from the vertex, you went over 2 to get to that, and so from the other side of the vertex, you can go over 2 and make it a 3 as well, because there's going to be a line of symmetry in the middle. And that'll help you get your parabola. Stay tuned for the next video.